want to welcome all of you once again. It's Backpack. I'm always interested about visiting different sites here in Egypt, moving all around Egypt, whether inside Cairo or outside Cairo. Well, our main aim is to bring you more about the unique historical sites, to know how to enjoy your vacation. Regardless of what you are looking for, you will enjoy the vacation here, because simply it is not only about historical sites, museums. Yes, we have the diversification of the tourism product, but also we have some other sites to visit. Sometimes you go to the museums, sometimes of course we have must-see sites, like for example, inside Cairo you have the pyramids, you have the citadel, some of the famous, most ancient mosques and churches as well. But also there is something that is very, very important, to visit palaces and houses, to find out more about people who used to live in these places and more about the history of each of these places. It is very unique because definitely this is the easiest way to know more about Egypt. Today, I selected this part. Actually, we are in a very unique place here in Egypt. First of all, we are very close to Ahmad ibn Tulun Mosque. And this is one of the most famous mosques here in Egypt, and ancient mosques as well. But this time we are in Geyer Anderson House or Museum. We're going to find more about this unique place. Just take a look all around me and think not only about the place, but also about how he used to live here. What was he doing exactly, the way he was thinking, people who used to come here to visit him, what they were doing here. A lot of questions actually that we would like to know more about. Who is Geyer Anderson and more about this unique building. Let's move around here to find out more about this fascinating site. First, let's take a look at the place. At one time, the house was the residence of Geyer Anderson, a British officer in the Egyptian army, and a breed of individual known as an Orientalist. That is why we also call it Geyer Anderson Museum. Purchased two houses, one built by Amina bint Salim al-Ghazar in 1540 AD, and the other that of a wealthy merchant, Abdul Qadir al-Haddad, who built his in 1670 AD. Well, before we move around here, actually, first of all, let me tell you that we all know that this place or this museum used to be two houses. When Geyer Anderson came to live here, actually, he linked the two houses. I'm going to tell you more about this and more about the two houses, but just came to my mind to enter this hall before we enter to the house. Here, you will find more about some actually rare pieces for El Kirikleya. And these pieces, just as you will see right now, they have received these pieces from the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. So just take a look. These are some of the pieces from different doors that used to belong to this place actually. And for example, we have this beautiful chair behind. We have a lot of things here, just as I told you, transferred from the Egyptian Museum of Cairo. We're going to move inside the house to find out more about it and more about the decoration and the architecture. But just to take a look here at the start by this beautiful place. Let's move around.
Gayer then joined the two houses by a veranda above both of the gardens. He also worked for the Egyptian government as a physician. The house was made into a museum in 1937 when the Egyptian government decided to transform it to be a well-preserved example of early Ottoman domestic architecture. The museum is located in the back of one of the oldest mosques in Egypt, the Ibn Tulun Mosque. He is perhaps most notable as a lover of Egyptian culture. This was why he collected many different items from various historical periods.
Here in this place, it is the Sabil. Well, talking about the Sabil, well, definitely you all know that there is a certain area in most of the houses and also the mosques in the past that used to be just dedicated for giving water for the people who are passing by. And we have seen this in different places like the Sultan Hassan Mosque, also in Rifai Mosque, in different places and houses as well. So this area, as you can see, it used to be a place to give water for people who used to pass by, especially during hot days. Let's continue and let's first, before we move inside the house, take a look around here and to find more about more pieces that belong to the Geyer Anderson Museum.
He filled the house with his collection of Oriental furniture, glassware, crystal, carpets, silks, and embroidered Arab costumes. Collected beautiful furniture and works of art from Turkey, Persia, Syria, and other Oriental locations. By doing this, he made his house into a historical treasure chest for anyone who loves Egypt and the Middle East. The house represents an excellent example of what life was like for wealthy merchants in Egypt during the 1700s.
Usually in these houses we have two different rooms, one dedicated for males and the other one for females. Well, this place where we are standing in, this is Al Haramlik, a room that is dedicated only for women, and no one is allowed to enter here except members of the family. Just take a look here around. You will find many of the designs and the architecture belong to the Ottoman era. And even taking a look at the windows, it is the famous arabesque that will not allow anyone from outside to see anything inside the room. Let's move around here to find out more about the design and the architecture in general, and we will bring you more details about this beautiful area.
The wooden ceiling, which is gold-plated with Quran verses, is well preserved as well. The first salamlik, a place reserved for men, is quite impressive. It consists of a large sofa with a mashrabiyah window behind it. It has the same amazing ceilings and walls, with its Persian decorations as the previous one. There are also some alabaster tables with Quran verses written on the circular edges. There are also colorful boxes that were used to keep valuables. The most remarkable pieces in this hall are the largest smoking pipes I have ever seen. Each of them is at least half a meter long. Then we moved on to the summer salamlik room. It consists of two sofas opposite each other in a well-decorated balcony that overlooks the open-air hall that we passed through earlier.
Anderson collected furniture and works of art from Persia, Turkey, Syria, and other Oriental locations. And this what makes this house a treasure place or historical treasure. Well, we're going to move inside again to bring you more about the places here. Just take a look here around and you will find each and every piece here is unique, and how he was very much inspired by Egypt and by the different cultures that he used to live and enjoy here. Let's find out together more about Geir Anderson.
In the middle, there are beautiful brass tables with Quran and Islamic decorations. There were also some small ornate wooden chairs. This balcony looks like it is a place that really shows how people used to live here years ago. Just imagine Geir Anderson sitting there long ago on a summer afternoon, chatting with his friends. It makes one feel as though one has entered another period of time. Next, there is a corridor that goes to the Haram Lake. Here, there are many paintings that Geir Anderson collected from all over the world on the red walls. Most of these were imported from India and Persia. To the right of these, there are two wooden chairs and a wooden sofa. All are designed to be folded and put beside the wall when they are not in use. The Haramlik was an area reserved for women, and the word Haramlik is derived from the word harim, which can be translated as women in Arabic. This Haramlik is a big hall full of furniture and mashrafiyya windows. The room also has many multicolored sofas, chairs, and tables. This hall has the biggest collection of boxes. This is because women had a lot of jewelry, and these boxes are perfect for such items. Afterwards, we went to the third floor of the house that has the writing room. In the entrance of the room, there are white masks that Anderson made of him and his family. They are very well made and show some good details. There were also fascinating, colorful pieces of glass that were used to decorate the room. Inside the room, there is a chair and the Corona typewriter that belonged to Geyer Anderson that he used for much of his writing. All around the walls of the room, there are many photographs of Geyer Anderson alone and with his family. There are also photos of Geyer Anderson with other members of his family. Even there is another one that depicts his beloved dog, though it only lived for 4 years. Our next stop was the roof terrace of the house. Here, mashrabiyya screens use wood patterns to spell out important Islamic phrases, such as La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, which means there is no God except Allah, and Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him. There are also a lot of square mashrabiyya pieces with the word Muhammad or Allah written on them. From this roof, one has a fine view of the walls of Ibn Tulun Mosque with its many astounding windows. Even the citadel is visible from the roof of the Geyer Anderson Museum, and one can feel the good feeling for the house as well just looking down on the balconies and the open-air hall. There are a number of displays on the walls, such as a sun clock made of tile. It was used in the year 1273 to tell the times for prayers. There is also the oldest set of modern water taps and sinks I have ever seen. These taps are very well preserved and look as though they might still be operational. Next to the walls of the roof, there are big containers that were used to keep oil, food, and other supplies for the house. From here, we took the bridge Geyer Anderson built between the two houses to the Abdul Qadir Al Haddad house. The first room of this house is the bedroom of Geyer Anderson. It is a small room compared to many of the other rooms.
Well, that was all for our backpack for today. Thank you all for joining us. As you all know, every time we try as much as we can to bring you more about Egypt and more about the fascinating sites here where you can enjoy your vacation. Whatever you are looking for, you will find it in Egypt. Whether we are talking about recreational tourism, historical sites, history, culture, civilization, whatever you will need in your vacation, you will find it in Egypt. Always remember, Egypt is the cradle of all civilizations. That was all for now, but we will be back with more on our backpack next week, same time. Thanks for joining us.